What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. We are doing a triple effect Monday. You know why? Because your girl's going on vacay and she out of here. Okay, she's swimming every day. She's looking luscious. She's going on dinner dates and she's going to Africa. She ain't got time for y'all. She ain't got time. But if you could, drop your city and state in the chat, hit the like button, and tell me where you're coming from. Now, if you're new here and you haven't seen the article, before we get kicked off, my lovely co-host here, introduce yourself to the audience, AM1, and what do you do, and where can they find you?
AM1, Oakland, California, West Coast base, creative consultant, visual media producer. Some of y'all have heard my name spoken by my sis here, Erica Williams. She's had me drag me around the country on numerous occasions with cameras and put me in crazy situations, risk my life, put me in danger, did all kind of madness. But that's little sis who does it real big, and I super appreciate being here with y'all. Shout out to the chat and everybody who sees this later. Oh,
For sure, for sure. All right, he's a photographer to the stars, all that good stuff.
yeah, so
Uh,
yeah, creative consultant work, videography, motion graphic design, just building out whole levels of content for folks like Erica and a bunch of other, large array of clients.
mhm. Now, I'm gonna set this story up for you guys, and this is the person we're talking about. Her name is Marina. Now, Social Blade is always off by like a third. So if this says $9,000 times three, probably closer to 27,000, 30,000 a month. This young lady has I think it's she's like 1.3 million YouTube subscribers. She's also education based. She's 105 5 million views. And the reason I'm bringing her up is she just got approved for a $1.7 million. Again, it's in Russian because she's in a different country. $1.7 million loan from a VC firm for 5% of her money for the next 30 years. Now, if you're a YouTuber or if you're my digital real estate class, I'm going to do a more in depth breakdown inside there for a reason. But I want you to understand what's happening here. One guy says, and again, if you watch this channel, companies are looking for massive returns. Companies are looking for steady money. Why is this 5% significant? When I keep telling y'all that VC firms and family offices are looking for that good 4 to 10% returns on their money forever. Why? Because that's what they have to promise their clients and others. So, a former Facebook vice president thinks investing in humans is the future of VC. If you scroll down through here, he says she gets 1.7 million. Sam Leslie's venture firm gets 5% of her creator earnings for 30 years. It's definitely not indentured servitude, he says. He looks so sketchy right here.
Well, I mean, to even say it that way, but go ahead.
I know. He says he's been ruminating the ideal. So what if instead of investing in companies, you can invest in people? You guys, so yeah, there's a lot here. Now it talks about him. He was over the motherboard. He was over Zoom. He's been in two different. He was at Bain Capital. If anybody knows about Bain, it's has some heavy hitters and some unique folks. Mitt Romney, one of them, being in there. He talks about being over product management. He breaks down a lot of interesting stuff about himself. Now his thing is called Slow Ventures. It set aside $20 million to invest in creators themselves. Now the firm has gone and done it. They've given this first lady in November, who's 31-year-old YouTuber with multiple popular channels, which she talks about Silicon Valley life, learning a new language. She also talks about, of course, she's from overseas. They've invested 1.7 million with her, and they're for the next 30 years. I mean, she's 31 till she's 61. Basically, they'll get 5% of her money. Now, for her, she thinks this is a great deal. And I'm going to tell you why. If you're in America, you don't have to cut deals like this.
Right, 1.7 million, but
Million,
she has 1 point, how many? Three, how many?
1.39 million subscribers. She's over 105 million views. She has multiple
Nah.
channels. And I'm just telling y'all, like,
And 5% of what she makes off any of her channels.
oh, listen, here's the thing they told her. Let's say she writes a book in 2030. It's still selling in 100 years or whatever. They're still going to be getting 5% of that revenue. Like she understands like what she, and I'm telling y'all the reason. I'm gonna break it down in my mind. The reason she took this deal is she's in Russia. Uh, Russia is not. They're not playing with people like this. Right, like when we talk about being in America and the fact that we're in America and we have so much access to capital, it's just on a different level. 1.7 million gets her, fully out of Russia, not part-time, but fully out of Russia, fully in America. Because when people say, well, what does she need all this money for? Look at the setup, y'all. I mean, editing is for sure is on the backside of it, but I just want y'all to understand, like, in my opinion, AM1 may be different from me. I don't think this is a good deal. I don't think this is a good deal whatsoever.
So when I first came across this was that clip that I showed you from Rashad from Earn Your Leisure,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives some of the breakdown of it, but of course he doesn't give the split. You did a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
homework on it and broke it down. I mean, even with 5% and just even more kind of like record label 360 deal, is this any usage of her likeness? I'm curious to know the full ins and outs of it, but I mean 30 years,
I would be surprised if she
5%.
starts losing. Let's say she starts losing views, she starts losing stuff. If they don't have some kind of clause in here, like, hey, we're going to come back and take more percentages, or we're going to do, just some reason why this will be changed or extended. Honestly,
And then does she outright get that 1.7? And then how is that delivered? Is that a one-time 1.7? Does she have to pay that back? You said it's a loan, so I don't know if are they saying that's a loan? It meaning
they made it seem like
does she
it's a
recoup
loan.
that back? You know what I mean? Like that does she have to give that back as she recoups some more money moving forward? I just yeah, somebody did the math. Each cents, yeah, 56,000 a year, I guess, for 36 years.
33. Yeah,
For 30 years.
and so it's one of these things when you hear this, to me it's hecka off. But and this is, if you're in my YouTube course or you're in my digital real estate course, this is why I'm talking about digital real estate being so important. Because if you actually structure, like I even put in there how to set up your business properly. It's in the digital real estate course now, and it's also in the YouTube course. I put the video on both courses, because if you set your stuff up right, we show you how you should be able to get QuickBooks, Stripe, PayPal. You should be able to, if she has 1.3 million subscribers, let's say for the sake of argument, 10% are on her email list, 139,000. The rule of thumb is you should get $1 per month per the subscribers on your email list, according to the old Ryan Dice numbers. So she should be making, with 1 million subscribers, there's no reason she shouldn't be already making 1 million plus a year.
Right. That was my thought process. Like I don't get I mean, 1 point
Sponsorships, affiliate marketing.
from the sponsorships alone, she should be able to clear 1 million a
Mm-hmm.
year just because she has that many eyeballs. And if she's activating that property properly across different potential brands and
Mm-hmm.
other intellectual property ideas of her own, she should easily be clearing that on multiple markets individually. And that's not even getting into just what she's doing directly from YouTube, right? Partnering with YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Y'all, I'm telling you, listen. Uh, Auntie said she got one of them big red deals. Do you remember when Big Red was in the heartbeats and he threw that boy's legs over the side of the banister? Office hours
Right.
are 9 to
Right.
5 p.m.
Right.
Don't make me tell you again.
Exactly.
Because I'm telling y'all, listen, when I talk about TV, right? So Stephen Graham's in here talking to her. She's skinny, she's brown hair, she fits a lot of the criteria for marketing. Okay. She's getting 594,000 views. She's getting more views than people get on TV on certain hours of the day. She's being interviewed on countless platforms. She's got talking about Bitcoin. She's doing a lot of this stuff. There's really no reason. This something about this is so off to me.
Yeah, it can't. I'm almost thinking this might just be
I don't know if
like
she
a
owes somebody in Russia and she about to get her legs broke. Um, but I want y'all to understand that, like, the power of digital media. Later tonight, we're doing a show with Ellis and talking about some of the algorithm bias. But you see, she has more than one channel. So Silicon Valley girl, she's got 300, 500, 500,000 subscribers. She's got this channel that's got 1.3 million, and then she's got this one that has 5.2 million subscribers. So not only they're getting her access to her here, right? Because this is the English version. Y'all, did y'all notice the difference of what I just did?
this can't be right.
This is the English version. The Russian version is 1.39 million. So let's
Wow.
look up this one right here on Social Blade. Because to me, something about this deal sounds so off.
This can't be right.
I don't know who she owes. If she did whoops, sorry. If she had a bad Bitcoin thing, I don't know. She lost some money.
Did they specify it's across all of her channels?
If you read the article, it's across all of her channels.
She took a L. What is she thinking?
I
Yeah,
was like,
she owes somebody some money. She got Russian
some off.
mafia into it.
Somebody's like, hey,
We're
sign this
gonna we're
paperwork.
gonna we're gonna get them kneecaps if you don't sign this paperwork. Somebody gonna come see you. Here's some photos of your family.
Hey, dang it. I gotta copy and paste it right exactly right, or it don't do right. Okay. Social Blade. So Social Blade, if you don't know, was made by somebody who used to work at YouTube, and so they guessing, but they ain't absolutely right. So that's why I tell you always times 3. So look at this one. Her monthly earnings on her American English version, 5.2 million subscribers, says she's earning 183,000 a month. I've already told you the rule on YouTube. If it's on Social Blade, you might have to times 3. She gained 310,000 subscribers in the last 30 days, y'all. She has 45 million views. She also got a bump right around here in November when that deal got announced. So, I mean,
so assuming this is going across all of her channels, and if she's doing those kind of numbers like that, and if it's on the incline, that deal should have been 10x that to even remotely make that make sense.
Let's even pull out the calculator. Let's say she pulls in $1 million a year. Let's just say that for the record, y'all. She pulls in $1 million a year. That's our guesstimation. 5% of $1 million a year is $50,000. $50,000 times 30 years. Oh shit, I'm messing up. Sorry.
To get 1.7
is 1.5 mil. That don't even sound right. So I know she's got to be pulling in more than $1 million a year, or they think she's going to in the future pull in even more millions. These numbers is.
But how does it work?
Funky.
Why would she do that? That's like hustling backwards for her. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it.
I'm trying to figure out why, if somebody's pulling this much money a month, their bank didn't give them a loan. They didn't buy. And let's really be honest. If you really want to play the game, she could go buy a bunch of crypto, take a loan out against the crypto.
Right.
She could go drop a bunch of money in M1 finance or the stock market and take a loan out against that money. That's why I want you to understand there's so many levels to this. This don't sound right.
What would she need? I mean, 1.7, I mean, she just takes that and goes invest that in real estate or do whatever, or is that specifically supposed to be relative to her, I don't know, production, stepping that up? I mean,
that could be interesting if it had some contingency on production or ad costs, right? Sending maybe she wanted to start running ads. I'm trying to think of what it could be, right?
I just don't see why she wouldn't at least just use her own money versus a deal that's that backwards.
Yeah, to me that something about that's off, because eventually what happens is when you start losing ownership of your
intellectual property, your
yes,
likeness. Like that's a a media guy myself. I work with a lot of different clients across a whole lot of different. I mean, I work with VC firms, so I've been in some, sitting in some interesting meetings and seeing what they talk about, and none of this sounds right. Even now, the idea of, I mean, digital real estate, the idea of your likeness as a YouTube personality doing those kind of numbers and how much that can be leveraged across so many different markets, it makes absolutely no sense. So I'm almost like, I'm thinking about this. Ericka, what do you think about this? Could this be some kind of a pump fake to kind of start to set the trend to create like leverage a content creator market, like the idea of a 360 deal, like how the record labels do it? In other words, maybe this isn't real relative to her, but think about some up and coming whack rapper that's lame, that's broke, and they try to give them a 360 deal, but we're going to give you a $500,000, $1 million, 1.5 advance because you're going to be hot, son. You're going to be the next hottest thing. But then they, play them for everything. Yeah. Could this be set up for that? Will we see more of this going into the future? I think so.
I honestly see more of it. If this company set aside $30 million to do this ideal, as it stated in this article, if they set aside, it's a 20 or 30. Let me see.
They're doing more.
If they do more, they're gonna find, and the money's gonna be lower. Think about it. If she was their first person, 1.7. Everybody else is getting like 100,000.
Right.
Yeah, they set aside $20 million.
This
So
was a
now
pump
imagine
fake.
they gave her 1.7. Everybody else is getting something smaller. Definitely getting something smaller.
This now that I'm thinking about it more and seeing the numbers, this had to be some kind of like a it's basically a PR move. This
Mm-hmm.
can't be real. This had to be a pump fake. It's a
She
PR
gained
move.
viewers. She gained subscribers. She's gained traction in the news.
Well, no, I'm saying
Um,
it's a PR move relative to
for
that
them.
company
Oh, for
and
sure.
for her and for the
Mm-hmm.
company. You know what I mean? Like maybe like as we're looking at this and dissecting the lack of logic and business sense in this, I think maybe they said, "Hey, let's put this out here. It's going to be good PR, good promo for you, and good promo for us." As they try to put 20 million towards, like to your point, aggregating a bunch of different up and coming content creators who would love to have somebody drop a bag with 100K
Well,
in
and,
it.
and it comes from the argument too that let's just be honest, a lot of these YouTubers are young people. They haven't really been trained on financial management. You
Right.
see, there's a lot more videos saying, "Hey, I made six figures and now I'm broke," right? And so they need that. Let's just be honest, they need that second flush of cash, right?
Right.
And I promise you, like once you really learn the YouTube game, like that's why I teach the course because I learned a lot of stuff the hard way. But now that I know it, and I actually can see it every day played out where somebody does January to April, they run an ads for 90 days and then all of a sudden they're going to do something else. Frank Kerr is notorious for this. Frank Kerr wrote in a article one time that he spent this a couple years ago. He spent 90,000 and made 250,000 every month. He spent the 90,000. And people are like, "Oh, that's insane. I'd never spend that much." He's like, "But now I got all those people's emails forever."
What?
He's like, "I got all their data, I got all their emails, I got all their Facebook data." He's like, "I can market to those people forever. I don't have to spend the same 90,000 again."
Wait, he was spending 90 and making how much?
He spent 90,000 a month and made 250,000. This is when Facebook. This is probably like 6 years ago on Facebook. And
I
people
mean,
say,
that
"Oh,
sounds
this."
like a good deal either way.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, that's crazy, Frank. That's stupid. That don't make any sense." And Frank was like, "But I've got everything they need now. I've got everything. I've got all this data. I've got thousands of emails. I'll email them forever."
Plus over 100% of his initial
Mm-hmm.
investment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that deal every day.
7 million. She got robbed. Somebody said, "I'm sorry, my legs would have to heal."
Oh, because I said, yeah, somebody
Yeah.
said they was going to hit her kneecap.
Listen, Russian mafia told her, "Hey, let me tell you something. You're gonna
You
pay."
must pay. You must sign. You
Exactly.
must
One
sign.
ebook, she could have made 1.7 million. That don't even sound right.
This has to be a PR campaign that works for both parties. I see
Mm-hmm.
how both parties win from just this and having people talk about it. And this is
Mm-hmm.
advice too. So this is interesting. 1.7. I'm literally right now about to pull this up. I'm gonna send it to my guy, Chris Lyons from Andreessen Horowitz. See what he says about this. He's probably gonna chuckle about this.
Because
He's like, "I heard
because
about this."
now you think about it. Other people are like, "Well, she took that $1 million deal. So if that same company reaches out and talks to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, like I might be interested in doing that deal."
Right.
Right. But then they're gonna get into the meeting, they're gonna be like, "Oh no, baby, we only giving you 100,000.
Right.
You're not getting the same deal."
Right. So they set it. So they set the. Yeah, it's interesting how they. Hmm. So they're gonna say she has this many because a lot of people won't do the homework to the degree you're doing it right now. 1.7. Somebody's gonna come lower. They're gonna start sourcing other people that are maybe in the what 100K to 500K follower YouTube subscriber range, and then offer maybe 100 and take advantage of people who didn't manage their money properly, like you said. I see a model there, and yeah, they're gonna kind of Shark Tank it, right? It'll be like a Shark Tank, a YouTube Shark Tank. Is that where this is going? Content
It'll
creator
have
Shark
to.
Tank.
Yeah. I mean, Channel says she lives in San Francisco. So she's looks like she's doing so part of it looks like she lives in California, but she's also doing this Russian channel. Um yeah, to me using her own money, this to me seems weird. You don't make no deal for 30 years when you finna age like milk.
30 years.
She
30
can't be the face of the
years.
brand too much longer. I mean, that's the thing, right? Some of these people grow with your channel, right? Like I look at videos of myself in 2012, I'd be like, "Damn, what happened, girl?" But that's just life. You're gonna grow older. You're gonna look different, right? You got to moisturize your face because you're gonna be out there. People see you.
Somebody said I
This
used to
dude
be
said,
one of her
"Yeah,
subs.
it made no sense."
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, how does this make sense? Does she get 1.7 a year for how long? Like, no, in no way. I'll try to wrap my mind around this. It makes sense. Like the idea of I mean, if we keep going into more lockdown-ish kind of situations, like
Mhm.
this kind of like digital real estate, your online presence, if you're, have interesting ideas or whatever, or interesting personality is going to be that much more valuable. So she loses even more money over time as this type of content becomes even more valuable, protracted into the future.
Well, let's say she starts making 5 million a year, 10 million a year. Like y'all
Right.
keep saying 5% ain't a
That's
lot,
my point.
but I want you to
That's my
understand. What if
point.
this girl gets on TV, then she gets on other stuff, and people go to the YouTube channel, and it blows the YouTube channel more? They're like, what's his name? That has $54 million he makes a year, Beast Channel or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Imagine that. Like there are
Mr. B,
people here in the
crazy.
fitness space that are making 10 million a year off supplements, workout videos, and apps. Like one dude launched the app and it's $14.99 a month. He has a YouTube audience of 1 million people. If just
Wow.
10% of his YouTube audience, which is 100,000 people, y'all, sign up for this $14 a month app. First month was free. That's how they get you. It's like $14.99 times 100,000 people. That's
1.4 a month.
1.4 mil, basically 1.5 mil a month
A month.
times 12
Hand
months.
over fist.
That's why when y'all sit here and tell me, Erica, that's not a lot, that's okay. Like, no, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying to you. This mathematically does not make sense. I said, if I was in Hollywood, I'd be like, yo, go offer that girl some crazy money for something else because she's in trouble. Something's off. Unless she did this for a PR stunt,
It
something's off.
has to be. That's the only
She
logic.
has to have some kind of shares in that company. She's got to have, because even if Nick Bear does his app, let's say nobody falls off the app for the whole year, that's 18 million for the year off an app. 100 if he has 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, 100,000, just 10% of his audience signs up for the app. That's 1.5 million a month. That's why I want y'all to understand. Like when I'm on YouTube and I be getting frustrated, it's because I know this is a money making platform. People think people out here just to goofy and be silly, and like I promise you, this is a. When I tried for years to convince all my friends, hey, get on YouTube, and it wasn't until Max Maxwell really blew up and Earn Your Deep up, then people were like, yeah, I'm gonna get on YouTube. I'm like, baby, you could have been out here. You could have been out here killing it. Because really, if you even look at people now, there's some people, Marie Folio. Does anybody in the channel know Marie Folio? Put a 1 in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. She don't even make videos no more. She straight up literally runs an ad from January to April. All her affiliates run the same ad, except for them kind of endorsing her. And she pulls off like a 10 to 20 million bag every year, without
Insane.
fail, for the same course. She add new stuff into the course, but she pulling off back. That's why when I sit here and tell you this deal makes no financial sense, it'd be one thing if she was like not in America, she was stuck somewhere else. But it's like, oh girl in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me pull
Right.
up Marie
Somebody
Folio.
said using her own money or just getting a loan would have made more sense. Risking her IP could leave her in a poorhouse in the future.
Any of these things, right? So this is Marie TV. Marie TV has 748,000 subs. Sometimes you get capped and you don't make a million. You see, she don't make any videos anymore. So it's like her numbers is dead, basically. She don't make videos no more. She don't care to. Let me go and pull a channel real quick for y'all.
Auntie is wilding. She said, you don't make no 30-year deal when you finna age like milk. She
I
can't
told
be
you
the
that.
face of the brand too much.
So Marie Folio out here, I think she ain't made video. How many years? Let me see. Okay, she put something up recent, like a month ago, 2 months ago. But she does that every year when it's time to sell the course. If I go back and click on her videos overall, she ain't been doing no videos. She's doing like once a month, if that. Then before that, 4 years ago, is when she was really making videos. I'm telling y'all, like when you get this thing down packed a certain way, see if she used her community tab. She did 1 year ago. She used her community tab, y'all. That's how long ago. So I just want y'all to understand the way about this digital real estate. If you really tone it in right, like when she met with Oprah and she did all this other stuff, like she ain't been on here like that. She has not. She runs ads in the spring for her business school and she bounces. And that's how powerful this digital real estate is. That I can show y'all 10, 20, 30 people and y'all ain't never heard of them before. I can be like, hey, I'm going to this mastermind with this person. You'd be like, who? Who? And her husband is an actor, but you know what I mean. If you've seen TV movies, you've seen him. Josh Pass. He looked crazy there. But he's been in a ton of movies. You look back, all kind of goofy movies. Star Trek, all that. So I just want y'all to understand the power of digital real estate is so powerful that Marie Folio made content 8, 9, 10 years ago, barely makes content now, makes it when she wants to, and just runs at and gets a 10 to 20 mil bag. Just getting the bag, y'all. And I'm not saying it in a way that's like, oh, sell crap to people, don't do anything promotional. It's when I'm trying to convince my coaching students and my YouTube students, I'm like, come out here, make videos. Like when I see the community keep talking about women's, I'm like, y'all losing the real bag. There's so much more topics out here we can talk about and really kill it and really not be censored and really make money. This stuff blows my mind. I mean, I'm really about to move to behind the scenes consulting for other people. That's part of why, like AM1 knows, this is part of the reason I'm going to the conferences I'm going to, is because people in the real estate spaces and other spaces are like, Ericka, how can I get more people to work with me and invest with me? I'm like, make a YouTube channel. Come out here, show good content. Be consistent. Red sings the blues. I'm going on vacation after tomorrow, so send me the email. I'll see if I can get some time while in February, first week of February.
Shout out to Red Sings the Blues.
What's up, Andre Hatchet, the Big man behind the scenes, Hatchet. The plug of the plugs.
Hatchet, I want to get you on a interview. Got some things in the works.
Talk to me, AM1, as a creator. And what's funny is my friend took a picture of me and I used it as the same headshot for years. And you've complained about that headshot. He's like, man, if I knew you were going to use that headshot like this, I'd have charged you more. On your end, what do you think of this? Would this opportunity entertain you as a photographer or videographer? Or would you think some of those guys in that marketplace would take this deal?
I mean, it just depends on your numbers, right? I mean, if your numbers are low and you're kind of, starting out of the gate, I could maybe see it, but that's only if you kind of didn't parse it out. I mean, if you're where she's at, it doesn't make sense. If you're starting out of the gate, obviously nobody's going to offer you 1.7. So there's just no way it makes sense. I don't know. Like, I'm putting the pedal to the metal more on YouTube myself. I mean, that's the thing. Like, just to give more context, I am a videographer. I work with a lot of different companies, brands, independents, YouTubers. I'm like a content creator. Like, I do it for real. Like, it's not just, sit in front of a camera, not to disparage that, but I mean, I'm shooting with cameras. I'm hopping on planes. I'm going to locations and I'm coming back and I'm really going through footage and editing and going through the whole process, building out custom motion graphics, giving me your logo. I'm breaking it apart. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm pushing more on this digital real estate multimedia from this aspect myself and using my expertise to sort of ramp up my own offerings, my own courses, content as well. So understanding that, I see where it can go. And luckily enough, I've got to be a fly on the wall on entirely too many meetings and sessions with Ericka and other people, being at Earn Your Leisure events where I first saw this article, just being around big VC firms that are managing billions of dollars. Like, I've been able to soak up a whole lot of game from a whole lot of different places. So I know a lot of people who would kind of on the, street music 360 deal, give me that bag real quick and I'm gonna make it work how I make it work, and probably end up blowing it and mismanage it. From my standpoint, 1.7, if they're gonna just drop that bag on me, there's a lot I can do with that to invest that in and of itself and live off some dividend yielding accounts. So I would understand how to play it. 5% over 30 years. I mean, I'm 43. I'm like, come on now. Probably not.
You'll still be somewhere in Mexico. Hey, girl. Hey.
True. I mean, that's me though. I'm gonna look like this forever. My energy is gonna be youthful. I'm gonna be traveling the world, getting it in, still with a camera because I just love doing what I do. But with that said, I know a little bit too much about this to take a deal like this myself. I mean, I have the intellectual property offerings in effect right now, projects I'm building out that are definitely going to put me in multiple M's easily by 2023. And it's not even a question because the roadmap is there. The format is there. It's almost undeniable. And I literally build out my content myself. So I can build whole properties myself, not to mention if I scale it up to a crew. So for me, I would have to hard pass on that. I mean, Yeah, I
There's,
see it, but
people want the
1.7.
fame. People want their name in the newspaper. Like I did a video, and y'all don't judge. It gets released on Wednesday. You can watch it. There's several people who are Instagrammers that just signed up for HDTV and gigs on TV, and I'm like, boo, you got more views than what's on TV. But the desire to be on TV, and I don't know if this is part of her deal somewhere in the future, the desire to be on TV is so strong. People like, yo, I got to be on TV. I got to be on TV. Something about TV makes it official. I got to be on TV. And I've even told y'all myself, my whole desire is to write some kind of Matthew Lesko big book that I give it, where it's like how to get your 17 to 25-year-old son into like some kind of skill, right? Something, right? Or get your teenager on the right track to making money and on the whatever, right? Outside of college, and just run an infomercial on that bad boy for a year. I mean, even if I made it $30, I would probably make 10 mil, just because the way infomercials work, how late night TV still works. People want to be on TV bad, right? Like they just do. And there's no knock to that. But, even in my opinion, like I think somebody like a Kevin Samuels could have a radio show, right? He could be like, to me, but the way he dresses, he'd probably want to be on TV. And I'm like, you can make long-term money with the radio.
Could easily double down.
You know what I'm saying? You can make, because people on the radio, you ain't even got to dress up in the morning, right? But the way you even look at the Breakfast Club, they done, people done clowned them like, hey, y'all need to dress better. Y'all looking bummish. So they actually dress up to come on because they get recorded. Look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is recorded podcast and has 2 channels and got paid $100 million out of Spotify. People don't really understand the power of this digital media because people desire to hear different concepts, different ideals. And that's the thing.
Kariga McCoy makes an interesting point. Most creatives are giving 5% to an agent and 15% to a manager. But I don't think that quite translates the same way when you talk about a 1.7 million bag once and then you owe 5% on everything
for life,
for basically the rest of her life. In the idea of an agent and a manager, they're meant to add more value at an ever increasing clip. That 1.7 doesn't add value at an ever increasing clip.
And also too, like even when I had old girl on my staff, when I had her calling around and getting me deals and getting me on 80 podcasts and doing all this stuff, like that was a chick who got paid $2,000 a month. So when people say, "Oh, a manager does this and this for you," I'm like, really? All you need at this point is a young person who's gonna be on Instagram and Twitter and every day emailing. Like their whole job every single day is emailing people, emailing people, emailing people, emailing people. Like follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. That's truly what you need. Like people don't really want to talk about it.
And
But
if
like,
they're not producing, you can swap them out for somebody who is.
Exactly. That's really the wave. If you're on social media, you literally get somebody come in. Yeah, now you gotta be careful with the passwords and access and all that stuff. That's why you have LastPass and some other stuff technique that's out there. You get them in the office. I mean, and this is part of why I tell people they're like, oh, why it was such a struggle for me to take on this marketing team. It's a whole marketing team that's in California, Arizona, and they're literally like, getting paid like 6K a month, but they're busting their butts. Like we have talked back and forth every day, just getting the behind the scenes stuff, just getting a whole new CRM, getting like 7 different ads done, getting different funnels built. Like it's a process, and when you really put it together, okay, if I pay them $6,000 every month for a year, that's $72,000 just on a 2-man team. That's not even adding the other girl that's gonna get paid $2K to run that PR, right? To run that messaging, to get me on certain magazines, certain boards, certain conferences, right? Like that's her only job is just to do that all year long. And so people don't understand there's a lot of behind the scenes, and like we think managers do all this stuff, but a manager's doing the same thing. They got somebody on staff running around going, hey, I got my person, they want to work, they looking for, speaking engagements. Like Grant Cardone, I don't know if you remember this, but Grant Cardone was on YouTube and Instagram was like, hey, you want to interview me? Here's the email, reach out to her on staff and book me. And he was doing that to just drive all this traffic, just drumming up traffic.
Yeah, very interesting to see where this kind of stuff goes. More and more media elements. I mean, I love it. I mean, with just the way everything has been in the last 2 years, less people want to be out and about. More people want to go to content creation I do videography work, promotion, graphic design, and just overall consulting. So this is working in my favor. It's interesting to see how, some more people are getting bags of money dropped on them like this. They come to people like myself. I'm like, okay, I win either way because content. Who was talking about Gary V? Content. Attention. It's the warfare fighting for attention. I'm like, cool. Let me make visuals for you and keep hitting you over the head with cool stuff and consulting with people on how to capture that market share of eyeballs out there.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about and kind of like, because I'm not gonna do my third show, y'all. We just he just got a message, so I'm gonna delete that broadcast. Sorry, you guys. But part of what that broadcast was on was the fact of quality. So even if her argument is I need better quality, the girl's kicking out high quality content, and some of the argument is about the algorithm being unfair and unbiased. Who created the original algorithm? It's white and Asian software developers in Silicon Valley. So, I think some of this argument could be, look who's getting these first deals. She's getting 1.7 million. I promise you, the next couple creators they're going to reach out to will get maybe 200,000, 300,000, smaller amounts, but for the same crazy 30-year deal.
Right.
That's the part I'm trying to argue.
This is a setup.
That's what I want y'all to understand.
They're trying to set a precedent.
Yeah, they're setting a precedent with her. Same thing with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, they gave him $100 million, Spotify. But Joe Budda, I hate how to say his name, he had them number one for years, right? Like even when they brought in other people, they paid for other promotion. They were like, hey, we're going to give Kelly Clarkson a show. We're going to give all these other people a show. Joe Budda, I'm saying it's so stupid, Budden or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, Joe Budden?
Yeah, he still was killing it. He was doing so well. He was blowing all those other numbers out of the water. And so he should have been the one to get that 100 million, but they tried to play him. So that's why I want y'all to understand, like there's some funny business in the algorithm and in the system. And I think it is and I've told you this, I think, they never gave him the bag. He had to literally leave. Like they were making the bag on their own, like $3-4 million a year from their own sponsors before Spotify even was going to lay some money on top of that.
Wow.
Like two of the guys' the fathers had died, right? I think it was Joe Budden and somebody else's father died. And they were like, well, we really want you to get back on air. They sent another dude to tell him, yeah, we miss you. We want you to get back on air. And it's like, dude, my dad died. What are you doing? Why are you calling me? You have to realize these platforms are not playing in your favor, right? You really have to build out a business that serves you. And I don't believe this loan serves her. Other than it's for it to be PR. Unless she owns some shares of that company, this is a PR stunt.
Right.
Auntie said, put me on that team. I'm telling you, Auntie, look, email me, admin@classyclimbers.com. That is something I'm truly working on because to this day, people put as seen on TV. Right? And they literally, something about them seeing it on TV gives it an extra level of credit.
Sure. Yeah, that's when you get into the whole just the psychology of media, the whole format of a TV screen, that ratio, aspect ratio, the sounds, the overall production of it. That's why once I made a decision, okay, I'm going to push forward more with YouTube content and doing the kind of work I do, then I got to step my game up. I at least, got to have a sharp camera set up, have decent audio just out of the gate, just to, legitimize myself. I want to be on TV. I want to be fancy. I want to seem professional. I want to seem legit. So give me the lights. Make me look good. Make myself look good. So I get it. It's all mental. It's all psychological. Very important stuff. And then, if you're gonna come off and understand how the algorithm works, there are certain things that are going to hinder that. They do want to make sure you're marketable, and there is something to be said about who is buying and spending the most relative to different ethnicity, racial demographics. That could be a hurdle that
we spend money.
You got to overcome that. No.
If you look at Kevin Samuel's page, super chats and all that stuff, like if I can look at his analytics, I promise you, easy 5K. Even O'Shea Duke Jackson, get the likes up. The likes is free, right? Like all that stuff from the Rumbles. Years of that. There's money in the Black space.
But talk about more. You talked about the algorithm, though, right? The algorithm is being programmed by people who maybe culturally, identify with people a certain way. So maybe just by default, it's in their methodology to make certain topics that are frequented by certain groups get more push, more sway. Now, obviously, You're talking about that. Expand on that.
I was gonna say that when Graham Stephan and there's Meet Kevin and a couple other ones, I've seen YouTube push that into my algorithm nonstop, and I'll go, no, thank you, I'm good, not recommended. Like, because Meet Kevin's is gonna be on every day. I'm gonna see him every way, and I'm like, I keep not recommending. I'm not gonna say it. Certain alternative lifestyle channels. I literally be like, no, 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 thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, and it'll keep getting pushed to me. And it wasn't until I got on the first page of Google, they're like, Ericka, you on the first page of YouTube. But it was for a video that I didn't like, right? There's something to be said about the algorithm is picking certain topics, picking certain people to win. If so many people are saying, hey, I don't want to watch Graham Stephan, but he fits this category of white male, real estate, finance talk, well, there's a ton, which we learn every year from FitCon, there's a ton of Black and Latino and other Asian people who talk about finance and money on the same levels. High quality videos, good camera lighting, good audio, right? Like, I understand when you talk about people are struggle streaming, but these folks aren't. These folks are giving high quality, like they're literally giving an A1 production level quality videos. And so you got to say something's off. And I feel like YouTube, which I can pull up an article, I think I can, where YouTube created like YouTube Black. And they gave us like a party. They're like, here's a party. And I was like, why are you giving us a YouTube Black party? That don't make no sense. And it's an annual party. But then guess what? They complain because a lot of, like Anthony Brian Logan, a lot of people with like 1 million subscribers never get an invite. Why is that? Why is it only certain creators?
Interesting.
Let's see. We'll put YouTube. I'll put YouTube host the Black Party. The annual YouTube Black. And they had YouTube Black and they also had YouTube Latino, right? And it was kind of like this response to, oh, the algorithm's being unfair. Oh, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, we're totally fair. Like, if I go on YouTube right now, let me see if I can find an old video. Many creators posted it when they went to California. Let me see if I put it.
I mean, just kind of hearing about that, not knowing too much about I never heard of the YouTube Black thing, but the idea of doing that is you're acknowledging that there's something up with the algorithm, and to a certain degree, it almost seems like more or less you're pigeonholing even more Black audience into another set aside algorithm. And it's like, the way I look at it, I have skills and offerings that I'm developing right now that I obviously want to push out to the Black community, but that are bigger than just the Black community. You know what I mean? I don't want to be pigeonholed by a certain algorithm. So that's a slick kind of move. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like I want to aim stuff at Black folks the way I want to do it, but at the same time, I don't want y'all to just leverage it and pigeonhole it a certain way. Like, let me handle that, but make sure all of YouTube can see what I'm about to do.
even I'm struggling now to pull it up, which is so crazy. Like YouTube Latino, you call it back. It was a big thing. I'm putting YouTube giveaway bag because y'all don't understand. Like, YouTube sent people bags and boxes. Even if I look up Belief in Fatherhood, he gets a box all the time. I'm like, okay, what's up with that? What's going on? And so YouTube Latino, they had the YouTube Latino party. Let's see if I pull it up. And it was in response to people saying, hey, the algorithm's not fair, y'all. The algorithm's not fair. Now I'm mad because I want to pull it up.
Look at Auntie's comment. That's an interesting one. The algorithm will only, I guess, push the status quo. My sister produced international news for years. Her videos are good. They only push her hair videos. That's an interesting thing. So I'm guessing her sister is Black. So probably they figure, let's push these Black hair videos towards a Black facing audience. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I mean, we got to think, is there logic behind what they're doing relative to the markets that they think are going to be most profitable? Now that I just have my channel monetized and looking at it more in years of hearing Ericka talk about this and now applying it in a live scenario. Again, I just got more serious about pushing content on YouTube here myself. So I can, leverage the content that I create for my clients and really push that through here on YouTube and kind of, talk more about just consciousness relative to media and how that impacts everybody, including and especially Black folks. But I'm going to have a whole other channel that's dedicated to, more tutorials, more showing camera gear and walkthroughs on production setups. So that's all coming. But I just say that to say, if you are a Black content creator, I kind of see how maybe they write certain parts into their code. And from their perspective, it makes sense, like from cultural relevancy, like
Hmm.
to the degree of her sisters pushing a hair video. They're like, are more Black folks more in line, more Black women more inclined to watch hair videos, which is a big thing,
Well, this is
which
the
actually
thing.
kind of makes sense.
All the holistic health Black people, they done blew up like crazy. They're getting million, and they're like, "Thank you guys for liking my video. We never get pushed." So there is a demand across, like, even fibroid channels, holistic eating, going vegan while Black, all that stuff. It really blew up, and I think um, that's kind of where people are like, well, how did she get a million subscribers? If you really think about it, YouTube's kind of playing you, saying, well, there's not that many, there's not, there's only 13% Black people, right? It's the same way they try to play YouTube Latino. Oh, there's not that many Black people, but it's like, come on, man. Like, even when I look up right now, when I talk about Tech Tuesday, people are like, why do you keep doing this, Erica? Black people aren't interested in Tech Tuesday. I actually looked up Black creators talking about tech and their tech job. It's over 376, and they have hundreds of thousands of views. So I knew I wasn't right. I knew I wasn't wrong. I'm literally like looking it up and seeing they have hundreds of. I've never heard of some of these girls ever. Hundreds of thousands of views. Black dudes, hundreds of thousands of views.
Right. So many untapped markets. That's a thing for me, like looking at content creators that are really big on talking about their camera gear. Like I use Sony camera. So there's people whenever Sony drops
Hmm.
a new camera, or even just talking about like my lights. Like that's what I'm doing on my other channel that I'm gonna ramp up. Just showing you all my gear. There's YouTubers who are doing that, doing tutorials, all these things. That's a whole market, a whole sector in and of itself. And then there's Black folks that have hacked into that, and that's a huge market. So I'm like, hey, I'm about to do the same thing. Although I've been sort of, dabbling in sort of like a Black YouTube space, but there's so much more out there that's untapped. So for anybody that's like, why are you doing Tech Tuesdays? They just have no idea.
I do. And this is part of why. And so Evelyn from the internet is the reason why. Like, she only does it once a month. She lives here in Austin. She's very talented. She's been on TV and all this stuff. But she was the one who first pointed out the YouTube Black thing and how she was offended. And then they invited her and they sent her bags and all this stuff. Her videos, whenever she drops them, are high quality, great stuff, get pushed, right? But it's literally her audience. I mean, if you really look, if you really go back, if I can find it, I will, y'all. But literally, she's been on YouTube for 10 years. And she's just like, she complained, and then all of a sudden YouTube sent her a package and, hey, da 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 da, how are you doing? And it was like, okay, I didn't even know there was a YouTube Black. So she went to it. Belief in Fatherhood went to it. Several creators, and I'm like, okay, well, you had the Hodge twins, you had ABL, you had several Black creators like Lucas, Amazing Lucas, who did not get an invite, who have not received any, and they have bigger numbers and subscribers than all these people.
Why do you think that is?
Come on, man.
Because
Like,
they're more like Black conservative
because
leaning? Is
I
that?
think because they're conservative leaning, and YouTube did not want conservative leaning, and YouTube does not want pew 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 culture. They didn't, I think that's I think that, and that's why when people say,
Mm.
"Oh, you're Erica, that's just crazy,"
Oh
you're
no,
making
that
struggle streams. You got to make better quality video. I'm like, y'all, on the videos AM1 does for me, that's super high quality. The first thing YouTube said is this a commercial? I'm like, no, it's my upload. It's like, oh, it's not a commercial. Looks like the quality's so great. That's what you're asking. You're asking me to give you high quality, and I give it to you, and you think I've got a paid commercial from a sponsor,
hmm.
and really restricted that video. Like, I see that video from AM1. It was my most restricted video, and it's the highest quality.
Can't win for losing.
So that's why I want to tell y'all. I'm like, when people say, well, Black creators, they need to make better content. I'm like, y'all, it's not just the video. I'm just gonna tell y'all, it's not. Sorry, she has over 10 years of YouTube. She only does like one video a month, but it's still a lot. So I'm trying to find where she has the Black YouTube party on here, because she was complaining. She was like, hey, YouTube needs to do something about this because the algorithm is clearly off and we need to talk about it. And I was like, thank you. Somebody brought it up, which I'm still struggling. And I want y'all to understand, the reason I'm talking about this is not just for money issues. Okay, it's not just money issues. I want you to understand, if I'm a mediocre, I'm gonna just go there. If I'm a mediocre white creator, but I'm getting pushed by the algorithm, and literally I'm making 100K a month, I can improve my quality. I
Right.
can buy camera equipment. I can do more things. I can go and do a lot more stuff and clean up my content. All right. But if you're telling me some of these black creators who've been doing this for years, giving high value stuff, and they don't seem to break over a certain barrier, come on, man, it don't add up. And so the reason I brought this up is Tony the Closer. If I can find it, I'll pull it up. Tony the Closer was like, "Hey, something don't sound right. How come all the top YouTubers are not black?" Now there are some YouTubers who are black who comedian shows, joking, stuff like that. They are up there. Even they made YouTube Latino Party. That's why I said, y'all, that don't make sense. They're making a YouTube Latino Party.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, here it is. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. I apologize. Hold on.
But to the point though, like, and I want to ask you about this, or what you think about this, because saying what you're saying, I could see how some people would hear that and be discouraged. When I hear it, my thought process is, oh, well, my content offerings and what I do is just going to be that much more pristine and that much more amazing to the point where it's going to be undeniable. Now, if the algorithms shadow ban it or, try to diminish it, either way, I still want to push because there's still so much opportunity here on YouTube. So I just wanted to reiterate that, because to talk about the algorithms behaving in such a way or maybe being programmed in such a way could be a deterrent to an aspiring content creator, YouTuber.
Well, and I get your point there. I think also too, people have to understand this is a business. So how serious are you about your business? So thank you for
Right.
saying that. Keep it techie. So here you go. In 2020, they have two different things. YouTube Black Event. YouTube Black Event happened in 2017 and been happening since then. But in 2020, we lost YouTube Black Voices Fund, a multi-year commitment dedicating to spotlighting and growing Black creators in music on our platform by giving them access to resources to help them thrive on YouTube. Okay. Then you have also here the YouTube #YouTube Black Voices class is a group spanning genre, identity, and more. I told y'all this is this is something I like. They're picking certain people, okay? And why do we need to push more music artists? Are there not black creators that do a little bit of everything?
Right.
Think about this. They to the response of people complaining about YouTube being algorithm not being fair, they're saying, "Well, here, look, we're giving y'all. We're gonna push these black music artists." That don't make no sense.
Well, yeah, because then, I mean, I'll say it the way I see it, YouTube, social media, a lot of this stuff is in league with, the record labels, because that's my wheelhouse, right? The social
Mm-hmm.
conditioning element of media, mainstream media, social media, converging, the idea of people leaving TV as we've known it
Mm-hmm.
for all my life, and then even cable, the cord cutters, everything online. I don't have cable anymore. Everything is streamed internet, like, Amazon. It's kind of like the new cable or Prime or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Roku, the things where they a la carte serve these different networks. But even understanding that YouTube and all the parallel platforms, because obviously in the last couple of years, YouTube has been shame, super naughty with the censorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to really funnel this and be careful. In other words, they have to make sure that black content creators who are even super pristine with their work, they gotta dial that back, because this whole YouTube thing levels the playing field. If you come with really dope content and really great offerings, it does level the playing field to TV, right? Everybody want to be on TV. YouTube is the new
Mm-hmm.
TV. So if it is a situation where they want to hold us back, they have to hold us back here, because we got the juice, we got the creativity. If we can own and control our own image and our own perception, the way we're seen for other people, from other people, and for ourselves, right? Like that's dangerous to the status quo. No, not to get too far into that, but
But
yeah.
also, but I want y'all to see this. They opened up the fund to people from United Kingdom, Brazil, Australia, South Africa, and Nigeria. Now, I just want to be clear. If people in America are complaining, why are we going out giving this to outside folks? I'm trying to say, I want y'all to understand how this don't make no sense. Like, YouTube is international, it's all in other countries, but I want y'all to understand, like, something about this don't sound right. And that's why I just want to point that out. Like, I want you to build digital real estate, I want you to build websites, but I also want you to pay attention to some of the funny business out here. So again, Tony the Closer just made a comment. I'm trying to understand how all these platforms the white people make the most money. And so people are like, "Oh, Tony, I can't believe you're saying this," but that's Tony the closer, right? And these are some top people. You're talking about 54 million, 45 million, 38 million, 30 million, 28 million, 20 million, 18 million, 16 million. I don't want my channel limited. Like my channel, weirdly enough, for a long time, majority of my viewers were Hispanic, Asian, and white. Like a lot of my coaching calls were all Hispanic for a while. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But I'm glad it was like that because it was meaning I was getting a different audience reach. Right? Like people who want to see it were seeing it. Thoughts on the AM1?
I was doing a little bit of housekeeping here. My apologies. And people are saying nice things to me in the chat, which I super appreciate. Hold on one second. Keep going, Ericka.
He's like, keep going.
Please carry on.
look, John Disc is like, YouTube sends me hip hop, and I'm white. Every now and then, I have to go to YouTube via private window just to keep it funky and fresh. I'm telling you, if I see another hair video, people be asking me, "Can you do a hair video?" I'm like, nah. Here you are. There you go. Thank you, Rainy. Thank you, because I know I'm not crazy. I'm trying to find it. It's like Google and swept the internet. I remember YouTube Black. A bunch of Black influencers were flown out to an event and sent PR packages. It's like YouTube was like, all right, we hear you. Be quiet. If you look back about 4 years ago, it was a bunch of Black creators complaining on YouTube about the algorithm. Then all of a sudden, those particular big name creators got packages sent out. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, oh, okay, it's all good now.
Now people ask me about the video editing stuff I was talking about in some other videos. That's coming up soon. Ericka, you gonna come get it in my video editing instruction class? As if you have the time for it.
Oh, y'all think I'm joking about this relaxation. I've literally outsourced a lot of things, and I'm like, you know what, internet, we will just play it. We'll play it, and we'll run ads. We'll do all the other stuff y'all like. So,
Ericka don't know I got some retro content that's super duper hot that we have not released yet, and I'm cooking that up, so that's gonna be coming soon too. But that'll be a secret between me and everybody else. She doesn't know about it. Don't trip.
well, and also too, I tell people, I think I've shown y'all on channels here where I go look for content. I go look for somebody, right? And they've got hundreds, thousands of views. I've never heard of them once. I've never even been like I've this past 2 months. You know what I've done? Every time they recommended me a manosphere video, I've hit decline, don't recommend, don't recommend, don't recommend, bad review it. I hate to do them that way, but I'm like, I don't want to see it again. So it's just like that's kind of where I am on it.
Let me catch up in here.
Exactly, Torrent. A lot of gig create, a lot of like, hey, I do Uber, DoorDash, and stuff, and it don't even blow up. A prime example of one I want to show you that I think was kind of age based, but I'm not certain. Here it is. It's the Black. Let me go to his page. I think it's like Black Hustle Culture, which he used advertising for sure. Black Hustle Culture, Black Hustle Club, and then he quit doing it because he got frustrated too. He's at 182 subscribers, and his videos were content and cutting, and they were good. They were good. He basically did the same thing as Beheza. Same thing. To the T. Right? So again, and I want to show you Beheza. Him and Beheza did the same thing to a T. If you're like, well, he's but not Beheza. And Beheza's numbers, like Beheza was drop shipping for a while. He has a drop shipping course, and I think he was sitting on. And if you guys know who this is, Beheza has 1 million subscribers. Like he made a joke coin. He just created a joke coin, like with a dog, a puffy coin, and it literally got up to 17 million people invested into the coin. And I showed Made 5, and Made 5 was supposed to come on and talk about how this is very dangerous. Him even talking about this because that's how people create these fake S coins,
Right.
And how he's like, I deleted it. I didn't make any money off of it, y'all. I was just showing it for this video, right? And so I just want to get you to understand, like, that's how powerful him being exposed to that many viewers is.
Yeah, no, everything you're showing here definitely reveals that there is some funneling here. And do you still have that comment up from that comment that Jessica had up here? That you had up here a while. Yeah, this is to the point that I don't want to get all conspiratorial or whatnot,
Mhm.
but I mean, if you want to talk about the efforts to keep a certain group of folks in their place, then of course it would happen here on YouTube, and that just makes me think of other ways to overcome that. Part of the big thing is, I mean, can you build a following here on YouTube and be able to leverage it off platform as well? Have your own email list and be able to reach your following directly. That's something to be said about that. Obviously, if we're seeing throttling and funneling
I love
of
this.
resources to
They
certain
say, how
people.
does YouTube know your race? This is someone's question, challenge question. If let's say I hypothetically live on Runberg and 90% of the neighborhood in Runberg is black, what is the algorithm's association to think that I am?
Hmm.
I've told y'all this before. I had two friends who were in the medical field. They lived in a gentrified area of Austin. They were flipping their home and they could not get approved for any credit cards. And they could not figure it out why. As soon as they moved to the other side of town on Arboretum, all of a sudden their mailbox is just flooded full of credit card offers.
Wow.
And I was like, I've been to credit repair conferences where people are like, I'm fixing my credit repair. And my clients are not getting the same results. So I just want to tell y'all, like it knows. There was a YouTube Black in Atlanta, but there was also a YouTube Black in California, in Anaheim. AM1, I agree with you. It's discouraging. It's not our platform, and we don't make the rules. We certainly don't choose which content creators are good quality. 45 million on YouTube is CEO money. Yeah, it's life changing. Like you could pretty much stop making movie. You could stop that day making any other content. Take that money and invest it and live off 20% interest for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different things here, right? Like the idea of how they're sort of manipulating the system to make certain folks win, as they do kind of and have done for the last half a millennia.
Hmm.
And then there's the whole thing that if you leverage yourself properly and get with the right people that can put you on a path to success, you can leverage what can be done here using your own likeness, your own intellectual property, and offer something of value and make it look nice. And you can run up a nice bag here on YouTube, leverage that right. I mean, there's so many resources right here on this platform to understand how to invest it properly, right here on literally Erica's platform, Erica herself, be able to invest it properly and live off dividends, live off residual income, like it's totally doable. So we're talking about a couple of different things here: higher level media manipulation
Hmm.
of this whole situation, and that's kind of my wheelhouse. Hence the discussion here with me, and leveraging into the future your likeness and your content to be profitable, to be successful, while understanding some of the inherent setbacks from a higher order sort of perspective. But ultimately, don't be discouraged for anybody who's like Erica involved in your classes, in the people that are going to come see me and learn like from the ground up how to edit video, just to start there, because that's something that's future proof for sure. And you can work from home and you can do a side hustle. You can build a whole new career out.
Hmm.
And learning video editing totally changes how you think about consuming content, because you'll be thinking about out of the gate, how was it built, how was it shot, how was it edited, what messages are being delivered to you, what are they not telling you. You see what I mean? Like the symbology of it, there's a whole lot of like deeper level, you could almost even say spiritual elements to understanding how visual media is being presented to you.
So
Stuff is big.
I want to talk about this guy's comment now. Oh, y'all, we are not one big uh brown word. Yvette, Tone talks to all these people. I've been on YouTube longer than some of these people. I've been on here since 2011. Like, like I've taught more people, I've educated more people. Like, miss me with this, right? Like, truth be told, if you want to like go there, um, begging for reparations on the internet don't make sense to me. Tariq does a great job of just being funny, comedical, bringing up news topics. He kind of stays up to date, no problem. Same thing with Jason Black. But look at what Jason Black did. He made documentaries and took them to the movie theaters, and we sold out all the movie theaters. So there has to be some type of sell component to your business, even if you're on YouTube. And yes, somebody said if you have hustle in your name, you get flagged. That did get flagged for a lot of people all of a sudden. JT Hustles changed to JT Automations, right? And I'll even show you the cross. JT Automations, and there's a Hispanic dude doing the same thing. And look at the numbers are crazy, right? It's like JT JT Automations, right? But he's up there now. He's at 255, right? But there is a Hispanic guy. If y'all know who I'm talking about, George. Oh goodness, what's his name? He actually came on JT Hustle's show. Let me see if I pull it up. JT Automations. If you go down, and I'm proud of him. He's like lost 50 pounds. He's doing all some good stuff here. If I go here, he recently had him on. Bam. We learning today, y'all. We learning today. We learn together. Unless somebody know who I'm talking about in the comments. The Hispanic dude who's I think he might still have Hustle in his name. Let me see. Oh, I hate it. I hate it when I can't find something. Let me go most popular. Sorted by most popular. It's like a class within a class today. Hating it when I want to show you something. I hate it. Let me see if I pull it. George. ATM Money. George. He's Hispanic, but I cannot remember the last name. Ooh, I hate it. JL Cooper. Watch. As soon as this channel's over, I'll find it. I hate that. But it's a Latino dude who's doing the same thing, and the numbers are crazy different, right? Just it's around the same thing, but crazy different. And so I tell people it's some shenanigans out here. Oh yeah, like when I do stuff, I literally. Well, here's the funny thing, Keep It Techie. I actually have a separate laptop at my apartment. I have like 3, and I use it to find new channels, and that's how like we had a YouTube class where we were teaching somebody how to find new channels. I said, type in high value man, just or high value woman, just the opposite word, and it brought up like 100 channels of people who had hundreds of thousands of subscribers I've never even heard of, and they've been talking on this topic for a long time, right? So. We love, yeah.
I was accidentally on mute, Erica. But Azalina the Sea Goat says that's why I use my parents' zip code in the suburbs for everything. If I use mine, the system automatically says, "Oh, she's black."
Listen, I went. I think it was Kiera from Charm City Virus. She had logged in her Netflix, and that's the blackest Netflix I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, what is this? I like mine looks like 1980s, old westerns. Weird sci-fi, and hers look like a whole different. I'm like, I ain't never seen any of these movies in my life.
Oh, right. And to that point, somebody also said, yeah, your IP, meaning I guess your IP address tells on you too. Google can tell if you're a bargain shopper, traveler, got a new job, and if the cable internet company does local targeted advertising. Yeah, it's an interesting IP address.
I love what you said here. This is why I left entertainment industry. I figured out what was really going on. Had to fall back. Sweat equity. Really, what you doing now? Sound like you making some real money. Yep, Felix. It might be the Indicon. Oh, Reyes, the entrepreneur. There you go. Thank you. Y'all be on it. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know what I'll be trying to say.
Reyes.
There you go. And it's the same. Like him and JT Automation, no disrespect. It's the same, but look at the numbers. It's double their subscribers. It's the same content. To a T, right? It's talking about different little things you can do. Now his numbers sometimes are funnier on some of his videos. Like his shirt videos did the best. Everything else is a little bit less, but overall it's the same thing. Like even if he talks about how much YouTube paid him for 1 million views on a video, right? So just check some of the stuff I'm showing y'all out. You know what I mean? And I think it's too because he changed topics so many times, but there's a lot. I could teach a whole class on this, but I just want y'all to understand, like, when you really love a craft, like I love YouTube, I'm obsessed with YouTube, and that's why I'm so like, I know when something's not being fair, and I'm like, okay, okay, cool, it's not being fair. What do we have to do to go around that?
Right.
Cool.
How do we overcome it?
How do we overcome it? That's my next conversation. Period. Like, how do I make what other YouTubers make? I'm gonna spend about $2,000 to $5,000 a month in advertising on the other side of Google, not inside YouTube, but some inside YouTube. YouTube ads and Google, and we're gonna hit the numbers this year. That's just all there is to it.
Ericka,
Because
check out that. Oh, go ahead.
Where you at?
That Purple Pros comment. That's an interesting comment, and that's the exact opposite of Elise.
Wait a minute. Can I laugh at this right here?
Go ahead.
This is super funny. Stop it. Oh man. If your target is 13% of the population, wouldn't you cap 13% compared to the content relatable to any race? So Purple Pros, that's just it. That's my whole commentary. I'm watching Black YouTubers who are talking about tech. I'm watching Black YouTubers that are talking about holistic living, homesteading, van life. Like, that's a content for everybody.
Right.
That's not a Black content. If you said I was talking about Black hair, yes. But I'm talking about how to cook soul food, yes. These people have YouTube channels that are about the most generic, open-ended conversation ever. And that was why they argue with YouTube. Something's off with your algorithm. If I have to say, hey, like, I'm a host, like I think I shared it. First of all, thank you, Nick. I am Patty LaBelle.
Petty LaBelle.
Patty LaBelle. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, even right now, if I pull up holistic channels, there's a girl I shared in the community tab a couple of days ago. And y'all try to play me on this, but I'm telling you, like, it should be based on your content of your character. It is Martin Luther King Day, y'all. It should be based on your character. Let me see if I pull it down. I know y'all be hating all these things, but Skynet loves it, so I must have play along. Like, even this girl right here, right? She's got videos going crazy numbers on tech, but her subscribers are stuck at 15,000, right? I'm like, okay, something about that sounds off. I'm almost there, y'all. I apologize. That's how much stuff I be posting on this wall.
Ericka can't help but taking advantage of the social media ish talking feature here.
I know they're gonna pay me. Pay me. Here she is. Here her man. 151. Sorry, be quiet. 141,000 subscribers. But sorry, her subscribers are at 341,000 now. Excuse me. Earth Mama Medicine, holistic nutrition, womb wisdom, homesteading, herbalism. Right. So when people sit here and go, well, Black people, no, this is a cross the board conversation. This is hipster all the way. White or Black can watch this, and it wouldn't be anything different.
Yeah. Facial recognition technology. I'm gonna set that statement right there and let y'all figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I just want you to understand. Like, people try to play me on this. I'm like, I study this thing way too long. Even if I go over here, and I'm giving y'all some secrets here. Trends alert. I can see people who are trending. Okay, it'll tell me who my competitors is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff this stuff does. It can tell me my most viewed videos. If we go on the first page of Google, if we go on the explore page right now, what are we gonna see? Now look at this. This dude's talking about reselling. Come on, man. All right. Football. You know that's the trending right now. The baby music. Silly mess. All silly mess. This guy right here out of Austin's been insane numbers for years. So much so that he makes more doing this than his veterinary practice. He literally bought a abandoned mansion and tore it down and rebuilt it almost. Multiple channels. Demolition Ranch, 10 million subscribers. Vet Ranch, 2 million subscribers.
I like that one.
Only reason I'm talking about this stuff is I want you to understand there's so much money in this digital real estate space. You got to understand sometime that you may not be getting the full open hand, like, come on in. And so what do you need to do? Right? That's my whole point. And so, John Dicka, I hope it helps, because in the community tab for the next 45 days while I'm gone, you guys are going to see new videos that we've already recorded, but you're also going to see in the community tab me posting older videos that you guys loved. So
Jennifer Hopkins, speaking my language. This is why we need to create our own. But for now, we got to take advantage of
Use where you
this.
get on here and use it like you want to use it. I recommend your videos a few days ago, and you have great information. Just stop by, show love. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. We appreciate you here. The classy climb.
Yeah, Danica Marie, blow up. We're doing some numbers.
Here you go. Look, AM1. Do you remember this? Nice to see you still collabing. Listen, O'Shea Duke Jackson had a lot of great people on that Rumbles that were decent folks. AM1, when I first saw him, he had an office in California working. It had like a white background. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody who's serious.
Yeah, and I'm actually kicking myself because even back then, I mean, I was busy doing a whole lot of stuff like, in Oakland, the Bay Area, ramping up my client list and was ramping up even more of my travel gigs around that time as well. I was more international, like 2019. I was, man, back to back on planes. It was kind of crazy. And then, yeah, obviously Rumbles, having fun, just, that was kind of my blow off steam kind of stuff aside from work. But man, if I would have put the pedal to the metal back then to what I
While
could
you had
do
an
now.
office.
Well, I mean, I can still do it now. It's not the issue.
do.
I'm just saying, like, the momentum that I missed out on not flexing YouTube. And I say that and highlight that to point out anybody who listens to you who is looking to get into the mix with your courses or who are already involved with it. Make sure you stay the course and get on it if you haven't, if you're thinking about it. I mean, I have a bit of an unfair advantage because, I do this stuff for a living, but now that I see it, man, I missed 2 years. I could already easily be in the tens of thousands based on a few different offerings. But, I don't have a time machine and we moving forward 2022. Ericka, we talked about this behind the scenes, but yeah, you already know. My 22 roadmap is about to be insane. And I got offers of value ready to go for folks. Definitely.
Purple Girl, listen. What I laugh about this is I post stuff in the community tab it'll be white guys in the community tab like, why are you saying this? This is so radical. Like there's all kind of people watching the channel at any given time, any given moment on this platform. Somebody could choose to do that, but if they're not even being offered your video to see it, to decline it, that's what we're talking about. Like they're not even getting an opportunity in the algorithm space to even see your content to be like, oh, I don't want to hear from her. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Exactly. Linux. Like even if and then I try to go, keep it techie. If I go on your page and I say, change all this is what I tell all my YouTube students. And I say it to y'all today. Go back through everything we're doing now with the marketing team and what I'm doing while we're off on this 45-day break is we're going through old videos, clearing the data, clearing the SEO, putting new tags in the videos, trying to align the page up, align it up with one central message, the classy climb, to where you're going to get focused about your business, your life, your money, and real estate. That's it. And as we do that, I would suggest that to you too, keep it techie, is go through and all your SEO tags talk about Linux. And if you want to cheat, like I teach my students, go to vidIQ and you can actually see other people's tags.
Techie, matter of fact, make sure you hit me up because we got to chat too, because I know you sent me your logo, but I got some ideas for that. I just did a stream on my channel with Keep It Techie, and we were specifically talking about what he's into in tech and entryways into tech and how it's definitely something definitely more Black folks should be leveraging. But Techie, definitely hit me up because I got some ideas, some things we got to talk over. I'm gonna hook you up with a little intro, but we gotta iron some things out. But that's part of the thing here with this YouTube thing, big time networking. Mr. was talking about that before, like seeing me and Ericka on sort of Black YouTube, Black Manosphere streams at O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to O'Shea. But then the idea that Ericka came out to Oakland, met in person when she was out here for Afrotech, and then got busy, right? Like she was like, let's book some trips and whatnot. Flew me out and leveraging YouTube as a networking tool. I mean, that's big for me, right? As a videographer, every project I do typically leads to more and webs out to more and more and more. But also just keep in mind the networking element here. That's also another super duper great added bonus to, doing the content creator thing. Having an offer, networking, it just leads to so many different opportunities. Major Change Group, check in the chat. I'll be dropping some links to my channel and to a Telegram group that I am ramping up right now, aggregating enough members in there. And then we're going to get into some editing sessions where I'll be showing people for free how to kind of get around the user interfaces of like Adobe Premiere. And I might get into another one, but I might just try to focus on one to keep it more central. so I'm not as diluted in being able to sort of instruct. Because I've been using Premiere mostly, but yeah, editing. I can kind of fast track your situation with that, and yeah. So I'll drop those links. You'll see those coming up.
Everybody check AM1 out. They told AM1 got flued out. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We ain't doing no fluing them out. No.
Well, no, I
Only for
mean
work purpose.
they
I'm
saying
messing with
flued out, but they saying I
you. I
mean
know.
flued out on business. Okay,
Flued out on
business
business.
trip, having a blast though. We gotta keep it buck. Look, we
Yeah.
handle business. We handle
We still
business.
get drunk and toe up.
Oh, we had a blast. Like, man, I had so much fun on them trips. Woo.
And there'll be more this year coming up and stuff like that. And so that's the thing, you guys. I just wanted to really, if nothing else you got from my channel is that make content, be on digital real estate. There are people, I told y'all, there's a video, if you find on my page, I might share it this week. I was in a video and I recorded me, Kevin, in 2019 at Grant Cardone 10X. Like he came to kind of be when he was trolling Grant Cardone. And a guy I met at that event became a millionaire after that event in California. And now he's trying to move to Texas and like, yo, how can I work with you to go ahead and do this and this and this? And he's in solar panel industry. So I just want y'all to understand that like this digital real estate is so powerful that the dude kept my phone number, looked me up on YouTube first and was like, yo, I found you, and called my number. And so I want y'all to understand like this platform is what you make it. This internet money is what you make it. I'm going to chop this video up in half because I don't want y'all to miss, I even laugh when people are like, oh, these videos are long. And I'm like, that's why you can't get ahead. You can't focus more than 10 minutes because you're on that damn TikTok stuff.
Short attention span.
Your attention span is too short.
Yeah, it takes focus and discipline to really be able to make it happen in business and really learn something. Like the kind of work I do, very tedious, and you got to focus in on it, and it's very worth it. I've changed my life. Fully independent, 6 going on 7 years. And a lot of what I learned self-taught right here on this very platform. So you can't tell me it ain't doable because you're looking at somebody who did it, and not even like I'm, on some high horse or whatever, better than anybody. I'm saying it like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. But you do have to have that level of focus. Ericka, let me do something. I'm trying to share my screen right now, but I want to make it to where I don't know if it'll just automatically pop in, and I want to make sure it's muted.
Okay, when you click share screen, click the video file if it's a video file, and click it.
All right, so it's in there now, but can I turn the volume down? I want to make sure the volume is off.
No, it's gonna play.
No. So it's playing now. Just let it go. But no, just you can let that run in the background. But for whatever reason, I shared this in one of my streams, and it tried to like flag me for the music, but the music came from a site that, I don't know, maybe I had to get some clearance for it. But I was just playing this just for the sake of, anybody who hasn't seen this, because this is from a while ago. This was earlier in last year when we were out in Miami. So this is me and my sis Ericka out in Miami scaling with systems SWS. We had a blast out there. So it just made me think about, fun trips. Flew out, fun trips, all that. It was so much fun, so much value.
Yeah, so I mean, even most of the people I've met at that event, still stuff's connected today. So yes, I will do the second week of August. We will have the boat party, but the third week of July is the last Classy Climb, Houston, Texas. I think AM1 is going to be our film coordinator there for that event. But our goal is to get 300 plus people at that event conference in July in Houston, Texas. So when the details come up, the people who are Classy Climb members get the information first, get the first advance tickets. You know how this works. If you've already made the membership, if you're already, that's like $199 a month or something like that, those are people that get it first. Same thing with the land video that's coming out later this week. That goes to the Classy Climb members, YouTube members first. It probably won't go anywhere else because I am not trying to give away the secrets on how we're finding land deals for so cheap. So same thing here. Mr. He said, I met Terry Ijeoma in Thailand when she first got there. We talked about stocks over lunch. A few years later, she's on the Kern Hunter. So let me tell you Ericka Williams' stupid story part 2. I passed up doing a show with Mr. Samuels or back in the day. And then a Karen Hunter staff reached out to me and I'm like, who? And people like, you're dumb. Karen Hunter's famous in New York on the radio. I did not know. And if I could go back and apologize, I probably will. When if I visit New York, I'll apologize to her in person because I feel like they felt like I was being disrespectful and I really wasn't doing it on purpose. So thank you, Joshua, for sure.
You have been doing a variety where you do long and short, right?
Hmm we have a whole bunch of chopped material that's 7 to 12 minutes. The video that went viral with 92,000 views right now was with oh my god, I lost his name. Was with DJ the Money Coach. I was about to call him by his first name, not his TV name. DJ the Money Coach. Um, it went to 92,000 views, and it was only a 12-minute clip of our whole hour and some change video. Right.
Nice,
So,
nice.
but yeah, I'll chop this video. I'll chop this video. Um, just like this, we'll make it into two because technically we talked on the second half. We completely talked about the algorithm and what we found the biases in it. So,
Right. Kind of pivoted on the topic, so
mhm.
definitely choppable.
And I appreciate you using your time like that because I know you could be somewhere else. I
Oh no,
appreciate
I appreciate you. You already know what it is. This kind of stuff we can talk about online, offline. Might as well share the value with the folks. And I appreciate you, exposing me to your audience here. I hope I'm representing properly,
for sure, for sure.
and inspiring. I just want to put people in the game. Like the visual media stuff is so important. It can change your life career wise, and just understanding, like from a consciousness standpoint, what you are consuming. What are you be if you're going to be a consumer or producer, be a producer and focus on be very disciplined in what you consume and make sure that everything you consume is adding value to your life and adding value to everyone around you. Everyone will always want to be around you.
Yeah, this year I think what is going to end up happening is I will for this year's event because the feedback we got from the conference and everything like that, it'll be a 2 day in Houston. The first day we'll have a variety of speakers, and the second day it will literally be a Ericka all day long, similar to how Ravi did his whole day, talking and busting down YouTube. Honestly, because I think the amount of conversation on YouTube, I could go for a long time in different ways to make money and different ways to do things. So thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. But yeah, thank you, AM1. Tell them where they can reach you at.
Follow me on Instagram at AM1 Creates. Of course, go over to my YouTube channel, little hybrid. Got some reactions, got some commentary relative to media, doing a few different things, kind of manosphere oriented, but I'm kind of, stretching my legs out a little bit more, flexing more on the visual media tip
You're
and
teaching editing.
teaching editing. Well, I'm leveraging that into
Mhm.
my other classes where I'm definitely going to be teaching editing and a whole other channel where I'm going to be showing my gear walkthroughs and all that. But yeah, definitely. I'm actually trying to find this thing and drop that link in there again. I appreciate anybody who comes over and subs to me. And definitely look in the chat and you'll see links to everything, all things AM1. Again, videography, motion graphic design, editing, content creation. I'm a consultant. Your favorite content creator, like literally built stuff out for Ericka. Some of the more higher end stuff you've seen in here, a lot of it I've done myself.
All right, you guys. This is your girl Ericka, Classy Climb Blog. I will see you March 10th from Dubai. I'll do a live from Dubai if allowed. So it's been real. Y'all are wonderful. We have great content coming. You will enjoy all the content that we have coming on the channel. I thank you. I thank you for supporting me. I thank you for letting me take a wonderful break. And 2022 is going to be lit. I hope you guys are ready. All right. Thank you, AM1. Thank you, everybody. Love y'all.